Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Update 1.54 has been released. Well, that means it's time for another video, and we've got 5 cars to take a look at in this episode, and the first one will be this Suzuki Jimny Sierra JC from 2018. We've already had a Suzuki Jimny added to the game in the relatively recent past, but this one is a little bit different. It's slightly bigger and features a more powerful engine. So it's a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine as opposed to the 660cc turbo in the smaller version of the car, the K car version. This car is slightly bigger, and I mean slightly. It is, I think, 155 millimeters longer, 170 millimeters wider, and 5 millimeters taller, and still weighs in at just over a ton, 1,070 kilograms. So still a very small and light car, and it sets us back 20,000 credits, I think 2,000 more than the smaller Jimny. But anyway, we've got a race in the Jimny Cup to do at Grand Valley that's been added in this update, so let's go see what this car is capable of. The only upgrade I've done for this race is the tyres. I literally just took this car straight to the event, and it was immediately clear that I would need some form of upgrade on the car in order to keep up. And when you're at the track, the only tyre, or the only upgrade you can purchase are the tyres. So I grabbed those, and we'll see how things pan out for us here. It's the short version of Grand Valley, so we cut through the mountains here, and we'll have to take a little bit of avoiding action as, you know, because we've done that tyre upgrade, we actually have some really crazy grip. Remember, this car weighs just over a ton, so it's very, very light and very, very nimble, very short wheelbase. So yeah, it really just goes wherever you point it. It does have little bit of a delay, I suppose, because the suspension is very soft, so you do need to give it a moment for the tyres to sort of load up and grip into the corner. But I think with a little bit of tuning in the suspension work, if you're gonna race these things for real, you could make them a very quick and nimble car around some tight and twisty circuits. But anyway, we're on our way now. We're all the way up into P7 so far, so a couple of spots gained on the opening lap. 3-lap race here at Grand Valley, and yeah, we've made some good progress so far, but you can see on the straights, because we haven't invested anything in the power kind of department, we're struggling a little bit in a straight line. So yeah, clearly we're not up against completely stock Jimnys, and these other cars are a combination of both the smaller and larger Jimnys, but yeah, there's, like I said, not actually a huge difference between them. But anyway, as we continue to race on, trying to carry the speed through there, and a little bit of an awkward moment with that car, but regardless, we're through up into the top 5 now, so things going well as we continue to close in. We'll see if we can sneak onto the left side there. Not good enough on the traction there out of the corner. We'll have to stay behind for a bit longer as we head through the rock shelter and out the other side. And a couple of corners left in this lap, so we should be able to find our way through pretty shortly. Maybe around the outside here might be a good opportunity. We'll get through. Can we sneak one to the inside? We're thinking about it. We're trying to make the space, and we will get through on the inside line, and that moves us up nicely into the podium places as we're about to start the final lap. Got a good exit going onto the main straight, so this will be a good test of the straight line speed. We're gaining slightly as we exit the tunnel, but as the straight goes on, you can see the cars in front starting to pull away a bit. So yeah, we do have that little bit of an issue of the ultimate straight line speed not quite being good enough, so hopefully we'll be able to get them in the corners and pull away before the final run to the line. We'll sneak up the inside through the right-hander, and that moves us up into second position. I was trying to get a good side-by-side shot of the cars because that was one of the smaller chimneys that we just put the move on, just to get an idea of the difference, but we cleared them a bit too quickly for that. But anyway, we're going to send one up the inside, and oh, that's a really awkward point to get a swapper on there. We've slammed that outside barrier pretty hard, but we move on, and we'll settle ourselves back in and have another crack at making this overtake. We'll get it done a bit more cleanly this time down the inside, and as we head into the rock shelter, we've taken the race lead. And so we come to the line and bring the first race to a close. Relatively easy one once we managed to get a bit of a rhythm in this car. Took a moment to get used to how to drive it. Very much on those tyres, underpowered and overgripped, I would say. But we head to Porsche for the second car that is just like many others in the game, a Porsche 911. I think we needed another Porsche less than we needed another Jimny, but anyway, the Porsche 911 Turbo S 992 from 2020. So relatively new Porsche, and yeah, we'll see what this car has to offer. We're going to head to Laguna Seca for this one, for a Porsche Cup race, and taking the slightly unusual decision to have a mixed tyre compound on the car. There is a performance points limit for this race, and putting sports soft tyres all around put us over the limit. So we're running sports softs on the rear, sports mediums on the front. So yeah, might give us a little bit of understeer, but let's be honest, in a Porsche that's probably not a bad trait to have tuned into the car. So we'll see how it goes. But for the moment, we've made a fairly decent start. Looks like we're going to be able to make some pretty swift progress through the field in the early stages. But yeah, like I said, bit of understeer, drifting out into the dirt there, losing out on the exit, and we're currently in the fight for P12. We'll send it up the inside, get that place back. Good momentum through there as we get some good speed on the exit, move ourselves up into P11, into P10 as we head up towards the corkscrew. So a good first lap, gaining a bunch of places, and yeah, we'll see if we can continue this momentum forwards, carrying great speed through this downhill section, and we might be able to think about a move into the final corner. We're maybe a bit far back. That might be a bit too ambitious to be considering that, but well, actually we will make that move to the outside, in fact, and not able to get it done. But good traction on the exit means we're going to grab not only 9th but 8th position as well as we come to complete the first lap. Lap 2 begins with yet another overtake up into P7, so we've got amazing straight line speed in this car versus those we're up against in this one. A big gap to the next car though, but in just over a lap we've moved all the way up into P7. We continue on then to the end of the next lap, or the end of lap 2 I should say, and we'll hop over the inside curb there to get the move done up into P6. Good straight line speed, easily gets us up into the top 5. Moving on, we've got a few more cars in front of us as we're working on the third lap of the race. Up into 4th position, we should be able to carry some good speed through the left-hander here, maybe get a run on the next straight. Could be on for a podium by the end of the straight. We'll make our way around the outside, and we're pretty quick versus the other cars in this race. We are on the hardest difficulty setting, and like I said, there is a performance limit in this race. So yeah, it's just a race that is on the easier end of the spectrum, it seems. But looks like the two out in front might be a little pacier than the rest of the field, as we run a little bit wide there. We carry on then to the start of lap 4. Easy move down the inside, and that sees us drift a little bit wide on the exit, but nonetheless a move up into 2nd position on track. The race leader still with a decent margin though. And it takes us until partway around the final lap to close in that margin, but as you can see, we've still got way more grip as we way off the inside there. But anyway, nonetheless, we are through. I wasn't actually expecting to be able to make the move because I didn't think we carried that much speed. But anyway, a bit deep into the corkscrew, they get back underneath us, and we're going to have to keep fighting this one. So it's not quite over yet, as we get a nice little switch through the left-hander, and a little bit of contact meant we didn't actually get the full benefit of the switchback around the outside of the penultimate corner, and we're still fighting this one out all the way to the end into the final corner now, and we should be able to get this position on the exit, and we'll drive away out of the final corner with some good traction there. A little weave to the line as the end of that race was probably a bit more interesting than it was meant to be. That was meant to be an easy move, but regardless, we got the job done eventually. And yeah, we finished 2 of the 3 events that were added in this update, so it's time for a brief break while we take a look at the menu book. The Ferrari Specials menu featuring the F40, the F50 and the Enzo. 3 absolute classics of the late 90s and early 2000s. You know, when you think Ferrari, at least when I think Ferrari, I very much think of cars that look a little bit like these. But anyway, collection Ferrari Specials completed. And a 6-star roulette ticket for our troubles. So, let's see what we can learn about these cars. Collection Ferrari Specials. Ferrari has made many special cars over the years, and these are especially so. The company was founded back in 1947 by the racing driver Enzo Ferrari, whose love of speed propelled him towards victory after victory in the world of motorsport. This unbridled passion gave birth to many a gem of the sports car genre, including the occasional limited production model to mark Ferrari's milestone achievements. Hence the name Speciale, which is Italian for special. Built to celebrate the company's 40th anniversary, the F40 was truly one such Speciale. The last car to be built under Enzo Ferrari, its semi-divine status continues to command respect to this day. 8 years after its debut, there appeared an even more extreme Speciale. That is the F50, a road-going car with an F1 engine numbering a mere 349 units. A beast on the track, its 4.7-litre F92A derived V12 is bolted into the back of its carbon fibre tub. In 2002, Ferrari marked its 55th year with a new car named after its late founder, who had passed away 14 years prior. A mid-engine sports car powered by a mighty 6-litre V12, the Enzo Ferrari is simply breathtaking to behold. From its F1-inspired long nose to its technically honed body and modern embodiment of ultra-high performance. These 3 cars are a reminder that while all Ferrari are special in their way, some are a bit extra speciale. Alrighty then, that is all about some Speciale Ferraris. So, back to, well, we have to check out this roulette ticket, see what we are going to get from this. We are in desperate need of money right now, because, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But, yeah, 500,000 credits is very, very welcome. We'll just leave it there for now. The next car we're going to take a look at is a Ford Escort, and I believe I'm fairly certain it's the first Ford Escort in Gran Turismo 7. We've had Escort rally cars in Gran Turismo before. Not 100% sure if we've had an Escort road car, but yeah, this is a bit of an odd machine, this one, and it is in need of some upgrade. And even after purchasing virtually every upgrade available, we still have room for improvement, so we can go to GT Auto and do the upgrades there as well. Ooh, you know how hard it is to for the correct amount of time. Anyway, it is the Race of Turbo Sports Cars at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit, better known simply as Bathurst. So, 5 laps here, and this should be a fun one. Check out the rear wing on this car. My goodness, that is something. But anyway, certainly can't miss this car, or misidentify this car, I should say. That is a unique design. It's like an F1 Halo, but in reverse on the back of the car. But anyway, yeah. Straight away making one overtake up into 15th position. 16 cars in this race, so let's see, hopefully we can make some swift progress through the field and get chasing after those front runners. Of course, the circuit I know very well, so no excuses here as we start to think about how we can navigate our way through the traffic up the mountain. And that was a bit of an awkward moment there through the cutting, but no harm done. We carry on. We'll squeeze our way through around the outside, move ourselves up into P12 as we head through Reed Park, Solomon Park, and up towards McPhillamy Park. Goodness me. As we tip it into the left-hander, big gravel trap on the outside. Let's not get bogged out there today as we make the move down the inside as we head into the S's. And we'll continue to just sneak our way through here as we head now through the dipper and out the other side. It's been a very good first lap for us already, up into the top 10. We might be able to make a little move to the inside of Forest Elbow. Not quite. We'll stay behind for the time being. Power down on the exit though. And despite not having a huge amount of horsepower in this car, we do have some pretty good immediate power out of the corners. So yeah, I was a little bit unsure of how this might go as we just decided to test the car's rallying capabilities. But anyway, oh, that's a bit deep into the chase there, but we get away with it. A little bit of contact with the car in front, but regardless, another bunch of overtakes and we're up into the top 5 already. So we are absolutely smashing our way through the field. So yeah, despite what the performance points may have indicated, I fear we may have overtuned this car a bit. But anyway, we're up into the top 4 at the end of the first lap as we tip it into turn 1. Let's see if we can get a nice run up the mountain with some good straight line speed. We should be able to grab a podium place here very swiftly, and along the straight we'll be able to do that. A little bit of 2 wheels on the grass action there, Katsumasachio style, as we head up mountain straight. But we're up into 3rd position now as we close in around the outside up into P2 at Griffin's Bend. Nice and easy done there. So just 1 car left in front of us and we've only just started the 2nd lap. So yeah, we've definitely overtuned this car, but it's always hard to predict these things. Down the inside we go though through the S's, and that's us up into the race lead. So yeah, that was really all for that race, and we continue on to the end across the line, and yeah, that was a fairly easy one here at Mount Panorama, and the last of the new race events are now complete, and we get a roulette ticket for our daily marathon. We'll not be getting any credits for this one. Looks like we're going to get a new exhaust system there for the BAC mono. Not particularly helpful. We have another new Porsche though added in this update, and it is the Porsche Mission X. Very unusual name. What's this about? A shift from combustion to electricity-based power units has not sounded the death knell for the sports car breed. No car proves this fact more than the Mission X, a fully electric concept from Porsche. You might even say that it is a technology beacon for the sports car of the future. Alright, that's quite enough of that nonsense, I think. Goodness me. Let's just skip through the rest of this. Right, let's actually just go ahead and drive this thing. 1,000,000 credits go down the drain for this strange looking car, so let's hope that it is actually somewhat decent. The last time I drove an electric Porsche, was not too impressed by it, so we'll see how this one goes. There was no event added that this car could really compete in, so we did an online race in this car, so that's what I'm showing right now. On sports soft tires, this car was absolutely dreadful off the line. You can see everyone struggling to some extent, but goodness me, I mean, even when we went out on track for practice, there were people, including myself, spinning out just coming out of pit lane. The traction in this car was that bad. But anyway, let's see how we go through the banking. Absolutely dreadful. Understeers worse than almost any other car I've ever driven, I think. Literally, the best comparison I can think of to driving this thing is literally the Jay Leno tank car from Gran Turismo 6 and earlier. And that thing weighed 3.5 tons on skinny front tires. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's fast in a straight line, this thing, but it just has no downforce, it has no grip, and yeah, we spun through there, through the banking there. It's just not a good car. It is awful. Yeah, it just has no ability to turn. So yeah, this was very much a race of go flat out along the straights, and I mean, you can see we're getting to pretty, reasonably decent speeds, 330 k's an hour-ish by the time we head into the braking zone here. But yeah, I mean, just grinding along the wall there because we just can't even turn it. And then here, super early on the brakes. The braking performance in this car is not very good either. More people coming unstuck through that zone of the circuit. We're up into 6th position, up into the top 5, rather, with that sequence of corners. So, yeah, it's proving a struggle for everyone. Just how tricky this car is to drive with its very limited performance. So, yeah, not impressed, to say the least. It's just, I don't know. When you compare it to other cars that handle this way, I mean, the Bugatti Veyron's not exactly, light and nimble, but it's a 400 km/h car. This isn't. It's just not that good. So, yeah, that's my glowing review of the Porsche Mission X. But anyway, as we continue to race on, we're up into P4 for a while in this race. So the race itself, despite the struggles with the car, going pretty well. And as I say that, we bin it into the wall and lose that position. So back down into P5. Moving on to the end of the race then, we'll end up P4. Old mate in the Tomahawk pulls up at the line and hands back all the places that a car that handles well is able to gain, because the Tomahawk GTSR is actually decent. It's actually probably one of the fastest things in the game outside of the Tomahawk X and I don't know, maybe the quicker Red Bull cars, but yeah, the GTSR is a ridiculously fast piece of machinery. I do actually quite like that one. But anyway, yeah, that was an experience driving that thing, and not an experience I would like to live through again. But anyway, that's that out of the way. We have one final car to take a look at in this video. And that final car is easily the best car in the update. The Mercedes-Benz W196R from 1955. The model name W196 has a special meaning for fans of Mercedes-Benz cars. That's because this legendary name literally dominated the racing world of the 1950s. When it was decided that 2.5 litres would be the F1 engine limit from 1954, Mercedes-Benz set to work on a car to suit the new rule. This machine, named the W196R, had an inline 8-cylinder angled engine which it wielded on the track like a weapon. Upon its debut in 1954, it claimed 4 out of 6 victories in the expert hands of racing legend Juan Manuel Fangio. A year later, in 55, it continued to prove its strength, claiming an even more impressive 5 out of 6 wins. The W196R you see before you now is from that glorious golden 1955 season. Lacking the cowl from its debut, this single-seater trim with monoposto body has a bulge on its bonnet for air intake. By the way, did you know that W196R had a sibling developed for sports car racing? Named the W196S, it was a sensation in its own right and a titan of the sports car world. Officially known as the 300 SLR, it left a singular mark on the history of automobiles. Is that meant to say similar mark? A singular mark doesn't really make sense. Anyway, unfortunately we are not even close to being able to afford this car. We need 20 million credits, so that'll take me a week or so to save that up unless I go absolutely crazy on the money grind. But thankfully we do have a way of driving this thing, because in the final round of the current Nations Cup, this is the car we will have to drive. So even if we don't own the car, we can still drive it in time trial for the Nations Cup and eventually in the race itself, which on the day of recording this voiceover was yesterday. So yeah, I did get a chance to drive and race this car without actually buying it first, but I will get it eventually. It is currently the only car in the game I do not own as of, again, the moment of recording this video. I'm about halfway to saving up for it right now. I've got just over 10 million credits, I think. But yeah, this is gonna be a bit of an interesting car to get used to. 289 horsepower, 835 kilograms, so quite light, reasonably powerful. We're on sport soft tires for this, so we actually have a lot of grip. When I first jumped into this thing, I expected it to be a real handful. I really did. I thought, you know, a car of that era was gonna be a bit of a nightmare to drive. I was expecting, you know, understeer on entry, oversteer on exit, sort of sloppy suspension, but it's not that at all. It feels like a very well refined car, which is weird to say about such an old Formula 1 car, but I suppose at the end of the day it is still Formula 1. But yeah, it's a very, very well balanced car and very pleasant to drive. So yeah, pretty much the exact opposite of the last thing we drove. This is absolutely beautiful, so I certainly will be saving up the credits to buy this thing before it disappears from the Legends dealership in, I don't know, probably about a week's time. I won't have too much time left to get it, but yeah, I think I'm on target to be able to save up for it. Just need to keep the money grind going. But yeah, this is my very first lap driving this car, which is why I'm not driving as well as I would hope to be in preparation for a Nations Cup race. I left practice a little bit late The car certainly didn't like going out on the curbing and the runoff there, so we'll have to watch out for that. But yeah, most cars aren't a huge fan of that runoff there, so that's no real surprise. But yeah, really impressed with this car. Yeah, absolutely loved it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the race itself and see how things go for us in this car. We're going to skip straight onto the start. We qualified 9th. Funnily enough, we actually had Lounsey and Jester in this race, both on their respective second accounts, Clownsy and Justin Bieber. We'll see Jester in a moment, but yeah, a decent start for us as we try to navigate our way through the first corner, and we gained a couple of spots up into P7, and we're right behind the next car, so we're going to be a little bit careful through Eau Rouge and Radion. Round the outside, bit of contact, and we've been pitched into the wall there, and that is essentially a race over. We're going to struggle for pace anyway, and with that, we've just lost a whole chunk of time we really did not need to lose, so that's unfortunate. Here's what happened from the other guy's perspective. We just made a bit of awkward contact. They got away with it. We did not. As they rejoined the circuit, there goes Justin Bieber. That is, of course, Jester getting through and fighting through the traffic there. But yeah, for us, that was pretty much the end of being a contender in this race. If not for that, with some of the mistakes others made, as you can see, we will gain 1 place back. Actually, that was the guy we came together with, funnily enough. But yeah, that puts us up into P12. I think someone dropped out. I think there were 14 starters in this race. But yeah, it's been a tough Nations Cup season all round this time because, well, I was with my B grade now. I'm actually in the GT2 split, which means I'm up against much faster drivers, and yeah, it's been tough. So P10 actually isn't too bad of a result. We beat 1 guy and 3 others DNF'd, so yeah, that was it. But that is going to do it for this one. A nice car to drive. I really did enjoy that Mercedes. But thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.